Welcome back to another episode of UBBA Unplugged. Joining us today is the head of enterprise market unit for mobile networks at Nokia, Jeff Pittman. Jeff, thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks, Trip. Super excited to be here.
Absolutely. Well, let's kick things off a little bit. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself and what your role is at Nokia?
Sure. So let me first start off by saying I am super excited to be speaking with you today, and it truly is an honor to be given the opportunity to speak on such an important topic. As you mentioned, I'm heading up the enterprise market unit for mobile networks at Nokia, which looks across all enterprise segments, including utilities, and it's across all of US and Canada. So let's see, I began my career with Nokia in 1998, straight out of college, where I spent roughly the first half of my career in RAN base station research and development, which is hard to believe. Time really flies, right? And I'm originally from Southwest Louisiana, a small town called Lake Charles. But now I'm based in Dallas, Texas, with my wife and 14-year-old son, who just started high school, by the way, this week on Wednesday. And we have two Pomeranian puppies, which I'm not sure how I got talked into a second one recently, but I guess my negotiation skills aren't as strong as I thought they were. And maybe also just to mention, interesting, I'm also a former police officer and reserve deputy, which has certainly given me, firsthand appreciation for mission critical networks.
Wow. So sounds to me like you just have a ton of spare time on your hands, right?
I
Well,
need to stay busy, right?
yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of staying busy, I hear you're also a six-time Ironman triathlon finisher. Is that six times?
That is the case. I've lost my mind six times, I guess. So you're correct.
That's incredible. That's no small feat. And to tie it back to everything, the journey of grid modernization for utilities is also no small thing. So how does being a UBBA Diamond level member help Nokia to be a critical part of this journey and help utilities along this no small feat path?
Great question, and it gives me the opportunity to talk about two passions, which is Ironman or triathlon, and also enterprise and private networks, right? So, and if we tie the two together, let's say briefly, so when you're training for an Ironman, it's very important to surround yourself with like-minded people, which have similar goals, and it's extremely beneficial and greatly increases your chances of success, right? So. You also want to find people who have previously completed an Ironman and have experience in what it takes, have overcome challenges, and can also offer critical insights. And that's even more beneficial, I would say. So I believe that the same is also true when we talk about grid modernization for utilities. I see UBBA playing that critical role in facilitating the gathering of these like-minded people. And as you know, Trip, UBBA brings together not only utilities, but key industry partners, I should say, focused on identifying use cases, of course, testing those use cases, driving the required ecosystem, all those things needed to further the adoption of 3GPP-based private wireless networks. And of course, these networks are very necessary to address key grid modernization challenges, for example, operational costs, security, and redundancy, and reliability, and resiliency. So I think that Nokia's participation in UBBA at a Diamond membership level is proof of Nokia's belief in the benefits that UBBA brings. Our membership allows us to continually learn from utilities about their business, about their experiences, about their challenges, and gives us the insight that we need at Nokia to help address those challenges. And it also gives us the ability to participate in important task forces and work groups. And those, for example, could be focused on adapting new use cases, such as those required for maybe, let's say, AI. AMI 2.0 is another one that's really being discussed heavily right now. Edge computing, low latency, and also device routing. So we certainly believe, Trip, that cross collaboration of utility stakeholders and other industry partners is really key to the successful grid management and future modernization.
Wow, yeah. Almost a perfect overlay to the triathlon. That was great. Well, and you touched on this a little bit from the company perspective, that the value that UBBA brings to the industry is pivotal. It's absolutely crucial. But from a personal perspective, what excites you most about being a part of UBBA?
As I mentioned, I spent roughly half of my Nokia career and ran R&D, right? And let's keep this between ourselves. So don't tell anyone, Trip, but while, while sales is certainly a significant portion of my job responsibilities, right? I would say I'm a true technical guy at heart, right? So I really enjoy these discussions and being part of being able to shape the future, really. And one of the things that I learned in R&D is the importance of getting things right in the beginning, the importance of understanding what the customer truly needs, not just what we want the customer to buy, right? And it was amazing to be part of the entrance of 2G and 3G and LTE and all the variations in between, and really have such an impact on people's lives around the world. And for me, I see the same now being true today with grid modernization. And to be able to be part of bringing real use cases that truly have an impact on people's lives and the environment for, let's say, the next 10 to 20 years is beyond exciting, to me. I think we're seeing now the real benefits that 5G can bring in private wireless. And I would dare to say perhaps that enterprise or private wireless is now really the perfect use case for 5G, right? It's just not the higher speeds, et cetera, that we kind of see perhaps on the CSP side. And then also having been in situations during my time in law enforcement where connectivity truly meant the difference between life and death, I do take our involvement in the deployment and betterment of mission critical networks very seriously.
Excellent. Well, it's certainly an exciting time to be a part of UBBA, and just an exciting time to be in and around the industry and have all those players come together. So thank you for that. I just really have one final question before we wrap things up, and it's really in the spirit of shared learnings, and it's, what would be 3 lessons learned that you would like to share with those either just starting on their journey or already on their grid modernization journey?
Maybe let's break it into what maybe we'll call the 3 Ps. Maybe let's call it the Pittman 3 Ps, right? So let's say the first maybe being partner, the second one being prepare, and then the third being persist. So kind of tying it back a little bit when we talk about partner to the triathlon analogy or reference, right? Again, finding the right coach is very important. It's not necessary. You can, of course, do it on your own. But I think it's very important to have a coach and maybe, let's say, partner when we tie it back to grid modernization when embarking on this journey, right? And much like deciding to complete an Ironman, it's a huge decision, right? It's a huge investment. So also when we talk about grid modernization, it's important to make sure you're making the right decision or decisions along the way. And a good coach, I think, will come and talk to you about your why, right? What are your goals? What investments have you already made? He or she is not going to come straight away and say, let me know how many watts you can hold on the bike, right? What's your power on the bike, or how fast are you? Because really that's kind of getting to the second or third step. So this should also, I think, be considered when we're looking at selecting a grid modernization partner or partners. And then also, in addition, an Ironman consists of 3 sports or disciplines, so swimming, biking, and running. And you can get a coach for each of those, right, that are specialized in each of those disciplines. But really to ensure that you reach your full potential and readiness to meet or exceed your goals, finding a coach who's experienced in Ironman specifically is really a must in my view. So someone that can look across all three disciplines and understand what it takes to really bring them all together, because doing each of those individually is most definitely not the same as putting them all together, as you can probably imagine. So again, I think you can see how I'm tying the two together, right? I think that this is very relevant for grid modernization as well. And then the next P was prepare. So I think it's the old failure to plan is planning to fail, right? Or maybe another one we could say is everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right? In Ironman, it's not a matter of if you're going to have a problem, but it's when will a problem arise, right? And I think the same is really true, honestly, in grid modernization. However, though, if you learn from others' past mistakes and challenges, then it allows you to be better prepared for your own as they arise, right? Having spent a number of years in the CSP environment, or supporting calling on CSPs, where competition is super fierce, I think it's great to see that while there may be some friendly rivalry in the utility industry, everyone is really open and willing to share and work together for a common goal. And I think that this is where the forum for interaction, I should say, that UBBA brings and facilitates is beyond valuable. In addition, as I mentioned earlier, having the right coach or partner in this case, again, I think is very important in helping folks to prepare. And then the final P, I think I said, was persist. So we've all heard the phrase that this is not a sprint, but it's a marathon. And I think that this is also true in terms of grid modernization. And there are needs and requirements and use cases for which we have no sight of today, which is great, I think, in a way. I think the sky's the limit. But despite the best preparation, they're going to come, right? So I think it's important for us to realize that up front, and that there will be a need to adapt and overcome, and a need to adjust your plan along the way. In my view, I think grid modernization is going to be constant. It's going to be continuous. And being a part of UBBA is critical to staying in the forefront of these discussions for us, and I think others, and also allows us to contribute to ensuring that the ever-growing needs placed on utilities can be met. And then finally, I'll say, Trip, as an Ironman, again, I go back to the coach piece, our partner. It's important for them to also be flexible, and so having someone that will be there with you every step of the way is what will make the difference, or can make the difference.
There you go. You've heard it here first. The Pittman 3 Ps trademarks are pending. So that was great. That was great. And what a perfect way to wrap up this episode of UBBA Unplugged. So Jeff, thank you again for taking time out of your day to be here and share those really valuable insights with everybody listening.
Hey, thank you, Trip. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, as a reminder, you can continue the conversation at the 2024 UBBA Summit and Plugfest this November 5th through the 7th in Kansas City. Head to ubbaplugfest.org for more information. And as always, be sure to follow UBBA on social media to stay up to date on all of the latest news coming from the Alliance. We'll see you next time.